What is going on, everybody? Man, what a freaking game we just saw. That was the best hockey game I've seen in a long time. At least the first period. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get I feel like you're gonna get a lot of gassing up of this USA Canada game from a lot of people. It was a really good first period. Rest of the game, eh. Rest of the game was eh. But that first period, some of the best hockey I've seen in a long, long time. For those of you that did not see the game, Team USA defeats Team Canada 3-1 at the Four Nations face-off in Game 2. With that win, USA advances to the final on Thursday in Boston against an opponent that is yet to be determined, against an opponent that can be either Canada, Finland, or Sweden, depending on what happens on Monday. So the stage is set for the game. Literally every game matters. Every single game matters, which is freaking nuts. And man, that was unbelievable. Just the storylines going into the game, everything, the intensity, and it has been so long since we've seen a game just deliver like that. Like that, the players knew the magnitude of the moment, and boy, did they own it. So, right off the draw, Matthew Kachuk gets in a fight with, I believe it was Hagel. I believe it was Brandon Hagel. Then Brady Kachuk gets in a fight. That one was with Bennett. And then JT Miller gets in a fight with Colton Pareko. And this all happens in the span of 9 seconds. And I couldn't believe the first fight because despite everything going on, you know, politically and just the rivalry with these two teams, you know, I didn't see that coming. Like I didn't see a fight. I was shocked from the first fight. I'm like, "Oh, we're fighting at this tournament." Okay. Like, cuz obviously the tournament has been physical, players have gotten hurt, players are playing hard, but to fight like that, that adds a whole nother dimension that I guess in hindsight probably should have seen it coming. But man, if only Hughes played this good in real life, huh? But yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts, and the Kachucks. Looks like Matthew Kachuk is hurt. We don't know what his status is going to be for that final game. I'm assuming he's not playing in the Sweden game. I don't see why he would. Hopefully, he's back for the final. But yeah, that was just all of it was crazy. The intensity, just it that was such a throwback to like old time hockey. Like forget everything because you're gonna have people talk about all the stuff going, the anthems and this and that, and yes, it all plays into it. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just when it comes down to what's going on in the ice, this is hey, it's our country against your country. Bring it on, let's do it. And to see the kind of passion from the players that we saw, to see the Kachucks just mucking it up, like, and mind you, the Kachucks, those are two of Team USA's best players, and they're in the box. I'm sitting here watching the game. I'm like, okay, I love that, but crap, we got two of our best players in the box now, for the next 5 minutes, and sure enough, as the game kind of goes on, and eventually McDavid scores the first goal for Canada. I know Binnington got one of the assists on it. I'm not sure who got the other one. I think it was a defenseman. I'm going to check real quick for you guys to give you a little bit of the scoring recap, but 1 second. I can't find it. It was McDavid from Doughty. Doughty was the defenseman who set him up, and Bennington gets the secondary assist. And obviously that goal is friggin' ridiculous. And backhand shelf, great shot. Um, though with McDavid, uh, the freaking coverage of this guy, man, I get it. He's your marquee player, but I'm watching this game, and in the states, I'm an American, and I'm watching this game, and The amount of time they spent talking about this McDavid goal, and even though Gensel scores not that much later, listen, guys, I get it was a nice goal, but my God, it's like Gensel scores not that much longer or not that much further down the line, and just no talking about Gensel's goal. Every chance they got, they're talking about McDavid's goal, McDavid this, McDavid that. I'm like, guys, McDavid is Canadian, and he plays for a Canadian team, and he's playing for Canada right now. And, we're trying to market the game to Americans. Talk about Gensel a little bit, man. Like, sell the game to Americans a little. I will never understand ESPN. I've already ranted about them. I'm not going to rant too much about it, but oh my God, the McDavid glazing is just, it's ridiculous. Like, holy moly. And look, I get, it was a nice goal, okay? It was a nice goal. I'm not disputing that. It's a nice, beautiful shot, but holy guys, like, like talk about something else a little bit. Jeez. Like, they literally had a stat where, like, they were talking about, like, who McAvoy hit. They're like, McAvoy hit McDavid twice, and McAvoy hit Crosby twice. It's like, okay, just say McAvoy got a few hits. Whatever. I'm not going to get too much into that. That's a topic for another day, but, yeah, I mean, so Canada gets a goal from McDavid early on, and I see that goal go in, and I'm like, this is right exactly the way Canada wants to start the game. You get those fights, yes, the Kachucks are, emotionally invested in the game, but they're in the box. They come out. I think the goal happened after everybody's out of the box, but, it throws off your rhythm as a team a little bit, and I think you kind of saw that early on, whereas the guys that were out for Canada, I mean, you're missing Hagel, Bennett, and Parayko, which, yes, are they all good players in their own right? Yeah, but those aren't, two players off of your top line, and JT Miller, who's a very important part of the team. The U.S. is missing. You're missing 3 of your top forwards for 5 minutes, and then they got to get back into the game. They got to get back into the rhythm of the game, and yeah, I think Canada took advantage of that. And that's why they go up early. But then the U.S. starts to kind of settle into the game a little bit. You get that goal from Gensel. And I believe, I won't tell you the assists right now. Gensel scores from Eichel. And Werenski, freaking Eichel, made a great pass to him, too. Oh, my God. Eichel, and at least in the first period, as the rest of the game went on, he kind of quieted down. But Eichel was feathering the puck out there, feathering it. Great pass and leaky goal for Binnington. Definitely, I think you're going to see a lot of talk about Binnington, because, man, that first goal. But I will say this about Binnington. Other than that goal, are you really going to fault him on the, who got the other one? I'm blanking right now. Larkin, the Larkin goal. That's just a clean shot, guys. And granted, he got beat with a clean shot by Kempe last game. This game, Gensel beats him with a clean shot. Or sorry, not Gensel. Larkin beats him with a clean shot. I mean, Gensel beat him with a clean shot too. Just wasn't his best shot. Larkin's was a good shot though. The Larkin goal. I look at that. I'm like, that's a nice goal. And it doesn't matter who was in that. Like, any goal, he can get beat on that one. The first one though, tough goal. But if you're Canada, you're looking at your roster and you're saying, okay, we were missing some defensemen, important defensemen, obviously, in Makar and Theodore, and you get Harley coming in, and it throws things off a little bit. But at the end of the day, you still have a really good offensive group of players, and they only came up with a goal. So you can go and complain about Binnington and say, Binnington, we need another goalie, and yeah, and Carey Price was that goalie for Canada for a long time, and maybe people underappreciated Carey Price for what he did when he was with Canada, because people would always be like, oh, all right, Carey Price is putting up all these ridiculous numbers, but look who he's playing behind. Well, Binnington's playing behind a really good Canada team right now, and hasn't been the same. So yeah, goaltending definitely matters, but this team is good, and this team's better than one goal. They're better than one goal, and listen, full credit to the U.S. Like, I mean, the U.S. just absolutely sucked the life out of the team, out of Canada in the third period. Like, they just completely shut it down. Save for a couple of chances. That game got boring very quickly. And for the U.S., that was a good thing, and for Canada, it wasn't. But so yeah, Gensel scores in the first period, and then you get a goal from Larkin in the second. Assist goes to Boldy, who I think Boldy has, for his role, Boldy has been unreal. For playing a pretty limited amount of time, every time Boldy's on the ice, he's generating chances. He's making plays, and yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been more effective for the U.S. than Hughes and Matthews have been, and I don't know why Boldy hasn't gotten more shifts. And it's like, it's not like when it comes to Matthews and Hughes, like, they're not giving up chances, but they're not generating either, which is concerning. You're not expecting those guys to really be like defensive players for your team. You're expecting them to generate chances, and they just haven't really been doing that. But they haven't been giving up goals either, so it kind of evens out. But yeah, Boldy been great. Larkin, great goal, nice shot, and that's pretty much the game. That was pretty much the game. And but obviously, you go back to that first period, everything that happened, the fights, the hits. I saw one of those hits from McAvoy on Crosby that they're all talking about. I saw that hit, and I'm like, damn. Like, to me, for what Crosby has meant to the game, I mean, like, that, you're hitting, that's a big hit. Like, and it was early, too. It was early in the game. Like, I think when Canada was on the power play, and McAvoy just drilled him, like, a cross check even, I think. I'm like, that's gutsy, man. That's freaking gutsy to do that to Crosby. Like, that, holy. And that was the type of game they were playing. Canada was chippy, U.S. was chippy. There was a play in the third period that Brady Tkachuk's getting mauled by the Canada bench. Like, that was just all insanity. All of it was insanity, but in just a great way, man. In a great way, regardless of, just as a fan of the sport, those are the type of games that you want to see. Those are the type of games that you remember, and that, at least for me, make me enjoy hockey so much. And yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts. That was everything that hockey should be. Would have wished that the game kind of kept up its intensity in the second and third period, but and obviously Gensel adds an empty net goal in the third period. Larkin and Faber get assists. I mean, not much to talk about on that one. But Gensel has a 2-goal night. Like to see that if you're an American fan. But yeah, that game was everything that hockey can and should be, and just what a wild one, man. What a wild one. I still can't believe there were fights like that. Like, that was nuts. That was nuts, man. I don't remember the last time that I've seen something. And like, I watched that game start to finish. For reference, I'm a Ranger fan, and the only games of the Rangers that I watch start to finish really are playoff games, and not even all of the playoff games, which is crazy. Like, but once it gets deeper into the playoffs and you get more invested and you start believing in your team a little bit, that's when you start, like, really, at least for me, really getting into it. And you're like, okay, I'm staying glued to this the whole game. And that's how it felt tonight with this one. It's like you wanted to see what happened the whole game, and it's just, it's crazy to me, like, thinking about it, like how simple it is for the NHL to, like, create these types of environments, right? Like, this game happens because they decided to do this tournament. They picked the right venue in Montreal. And now they're going to Boston, which is going to be, I think, even crazier. But Montreal, I mean, what a start to the tournament. Like, totally lived up to the, everything you would expect out of a Montreal building. And the NHL created the opportunity for these types of games. And, you're sitting here, at least I'm sitting here, and I'm like, why don't we create more of these games in the NHL? Why don't we do more rivalry games? Like, I remember, the Wednesday night rivalry on NBC, and just like do more divisional games, create more meaningful games, because when you really and let fighting be a part of it. Like this whole like getting away from fighting, and oh, no more fighting. We can't have like that. This game would not have been what it was if you don't get those fights in the beginning. If it was what the game became in the second and third period right from the beginning, and these teams come out and they're just kind of, they just play a boring game and it ends 3-1. Like, do you remember it as much? No. You know what's gonna make people remember that freaking game is the 3 fights that happened in the first 9 seconds. I'm not saying we have to go back to the 1970s, 1980s. That I think we all agree that was a little bit too much. It's a little bit too much. But completely drifting away from fighting, no, it's a part of the game. It always should be. You know, it's dangerous. Yeah, these guys are risking their health. It's crazy. It's a crazy sport to agree to play, but that's why they get paid the money that they do. Because it's a very violent, physical game, and it's just part of it. It's part of it. Like that's what makes hockey as intense as it is, as fun to watch as it is. Because you start watching the rest of that first period, and you're sitting there like, oh my, is there going to be another fight? Who's going to throw the next big hit? Oh, is there going to be a goal? What's going to happen? It's just like it creates all these different thoughts in your mind just because of those fights. Those fights really just set the tone for what this game became. And I hope that's a story. Like, this is the opportunity for all the people that have been pro fighting, because I think the anti-fighting crowd has been very loud for a long time. And I get where they come from, because you want to see the skill side of the game. You want to see the flash and everything. And yes, that's at the end, that's hockey. The plays, the goals, everything. At the end of the day, if you just fight the whole game and you can't score a goal, what does it matter, right? But to me, hockey is and always will be this blend of speed, of skill, of hitting, everything. If it's just fighting, it all comes together. And when it does, when it's just perfectly blended like that, it's what creates those games that you remember for the rest of your life. And I hope the pro fighting crowd takes this game and runs with it, because this game would not have been what it was if you don't get those fights in the beginning. It doesn't matter what was going on before it. It doesn't matter all the drama, all the storylines. None of that would have mattered if the Kachucks didn't stir up the pot with who they did, with Hagel and Bennett and Miller and Parayko joining in the fun. It wouldn't have meant as much. It wouldn't have. As crazy as it sounds, but like, do a little thought experiment. Like, think about how that game ended, right? How the second period and third period went, which were arguably pretty boring. Either if you're a fan of either team, they were boring. But you're sitting there and you're like, that first period was so good, man. Who cares? I don't even need the rest of this game. I already saw the game. Because that's all people are going to talk about. The insanity that happened at the start, the McDavid goal, the U.S. answer. You leave the period, you're tied 1-1. There's fights, there's hits. Star players are getting hit. Everything's just crazy like that. Just all of it. Blend, like I said, there's just that blend of the skill, of the speed, of the physicality. That's what hockey is, and that's how the game should be played that way. And sometimes I worry about like the future generation of players, because now you're getting a lot more of the Jack Hugheses and the Connor Bedards and these guys that, I'm sorry, but okay, Jack Hughes has the puck, and you're like, oh, is he going to do something? But then he just gets drilled. He just gets drilled, and it's like, oh, okay. The move towards, and I'm kind of getting on a tangent. I won't get too far away from this game, but it makes me wonder about the future of hockey and how are these games going to look a few years from now when you have way more of these shiftier, smaller players that are very just skill, speed focused and less of the Kachucks? Like, are there still going to be Kachuk type players? I don't know. But the game needs them. The game needs those types of players. They need a lot of them from every country, on every NHL team. We need more of those guys playing because they are what creates this just unforgettable experience. And it's guys like that like that's the marketing angle. Instead of talking about McDavid every 2 seconds, because look, at the end of the day, like the casual fan, especially in the United States, all they care about is fighting. That's all they care about. And again, I'm not saying don't go back to full on barbaric gladiator wars. We don't need that, but embrace it. Embrace the fact that fighting is a part of your game. Embrace it. It's what people know. People will always, regular, like, even though fighting hasn't been anywhere near as prevalent in the sport of hockey for the past, I'll say, at least 15 years, at least, but even longer. I mean, really, since the early 2000s, they're still fighting, but it's just started. It's fallen off a cliff recently, definitely. Last 10, 15 years, right? But you talk to a casual person about how they, you talk about hockey to them, and the first thing, oh, fighting, right? Fighting. Oh, they fight in hockey. Embrace that. Embrace that. Yes. Yeah, they fight, but they also score, and they hit, and they make nice plays, and there's this whole, and like, yeah, okay, and that's how you get people into the game. That's how you get them invested in the game, and I hope, again, I hope that this game reminds people, and I hope that the pro fighting people and the pro physicality people of hockey really take this game and run with it and just talk about this game. Talk about just how perfect of an exhibition of hockey that was. Because it was fighting, but it was fighting with ultimately with taste, if that makes any sense. It's like these were guys that they knew the magnitude of the moment of this game, and they were willing to risk their health to one, for their, first and foremost, for their team, to show their team that they want to win and that they're buying in, but also, yeah, for entertainment. For it to get there. I mean, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Hagel that's throwing up his hands, trying to hype up the crowd for Canada. Like, I mean, yeah, just awesome stuff. Awesome stuff the whole way. Crazy game. At least crazy first period. Second, third period were bland, but didn't matter. Because all anybody's gonna remember is that first period. And USA wins. They're going to the final, and Canada's got to win on Monday now. They got to win on Monday, I believe. I don't, unless I mean, there might be scenarios where they could still make it. I don't know, but they should look to win on Monday. I think it's a win and you're in. Unless sweet, no, because yeah, if they win and right, I don't know. I'm not gonna go through all the problems. They gotta win. They gotta win their game if they want a chance to get into the final. But in regulation too. But USA wins this one. They move on, and yeah, what a tournament this has been. What a tournament this has been from start to finish. This has just been insanity, and I think it's even exceeded the expectations of the NHL, honestly. And I hope that the NHL realizes all the potential that it has, not only with this tournament, but its own product in the NHL too, really. So, yeah, I just want to share some thoughts with you guys, just, after watching that game, kind of where my head is at. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching, whether you're American or Canadian. That was crazy. Love it. And I can't wait for the rest of the tournament. But let me know what you guys think. How did you like the game? What were your thoughts? And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.